Hope that this is
Thank you.
impactful to you and understanding what we're doing in Gwinnett around early learning. As Renee said, I'm Executive Director of Early Learning and School Readiness for Gwinnett County Public Schools, but I also serve as one of the lead facilitators for our Gwinnett Building Babies Brains community initiative around getting kids ready for kindergarten. And we know that early intervention is key, but I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's key, and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues that are on this call as well to share some specifics about what our community initiative is. Let me first say, and I don't have a slide on this presentation, but the really cool part about Building Babies Brains is that it is a community initiative or collective. It's not a 501c3. It's not an organization. It's a group of people, and you'll hear their different organizations. And this is just a small group of action team leads, but we have lots and lots of other folks that are involved in this initiative, and that's what makes it really unique. And is what makes it work. And so let's talk a little bit about the state of early learning in Gwinnett specifically. So the research around early learning is actually pretty new. When I started in this role a decade ago, we didn't know nearly as much as we know today about how the brain develops in small children. So we know now that babies' brains grow at a rate of, they say more now, more than 1 million neural connections every second. That is a tremendous thing that's happening when babies are born. Those neural connections build the foundation for all learning that is to come later. And as children get older, it starts to prune away and those really important connections remain. So this is an important piece to remember. Additionally, 80%, we usually let people guess how many this is, but due to time, we're just going to give you the answers. So 80% of a child's brain is developed by age 3. And so this is more than any other time in their life. And then 90% by the time they're age 5. And the really critical part about this is that school starts at age 5. And so kindergarten in the state of Georgia, up until very recently, has not been even a required grade. Compulsory attendance starts at age 6. So that foundational brain has already been formed, and we've started to mold what that child is going to be like even before they hit the kindergarten door. So, why is this important? So, the research tells us that foundational brain is being formed, but what does that really mean? So, what it means is that when a child goes to kindergarten with that great foundation and ready to learn the curriculum, then that means they're reading on grade level in 3rd grade. That is a critical piece. We talk about it all the time to say that the end of 3rd grade is when children transition from learning to read to reading to learn. Those same children who are ready in kindergarten and have that great foundation are the same children who are reading on grade level, same children who are graduating high school, same children who are becoming productive members of society. Unfortunately, the reverse is true as well. When children don't come into kindergarten ready, then they're not as likely to be reading on grade level. They're not as likely to graduate high school on time, and they are more likely to need supports from society. And those dollar signs are really key. As children get older, the amount of money involved in getting them from the line of not successful to the line of successful gets a lot more expensive. So there's a lot of science behind play. It really helps in brain development. So all those wonderful memories you have as a child or as you're playing with your own children, it's all about play, but that's how the brain is actually developed. And a lot of research today over long periods of time are showing that this early intervention, early playtime is actually building the foundation for children to be successful as adults by lowering stress, enhancing executive function skills, and promoting that sense of agency that we want all adults to have as they move into the workforce. So this piece is really important around executive function skills. We're actually going through some training right now to learn a little bit more about executive function skills. But the rate of learning, those aren't skills that children are born with. They have to be taught those explicitly, just like many other skills. So when we think about a child's foundation being built, we're talking about more than just those pre-academic skills. We're talking about those approaches to learning, those problem-solving skills, all of those pieces that make for a productive adult. And we know that this is what employers are looking for. This is what you and your organizations are looking for, right? You're looking for people who can work as a team and communicate with each other and are flexible and can work together to build an amazing product or to support a customer. And these are the job skills that folks are looking for. And those are built before children go to kindergarten. They're honed as you get older, but the foundations are built early. So what's going on around in Gwinnett in terms of early learning? So as we think about preparing children for that kindergarten experience, we know there's two places that they can be. They can be in an early learning environment where someone else is their teacher, or they can be at home where their parents are being their child's first and best teacher. But here's some data that might be interesting to you guys around the early learning statistics in Gwinnett. We have about 60,000 children birth to age 5 in this county. There's about 40,000 seats available in early learning center environments. Those can be in home care centers, in faith-based centers, you name it, any place that they're going outside of the home, but only about 40,000, which means there's a 19,000 seat gap. When we think about pre-K, and pre-K being so successful, we still have about a 3,000 seat gap in Gwinnett for the number of children we have versus the number of seats we have. And so there's some expansion you'll hear about in Gwinnett that's going on that's really exciting, starting to close some of those gaps for high quality early learning. So in Gwinnett, we say a child is ready when they are assessed on our kindergarten readiness entry profile and score a 70% or better. We've been in the 50s for a while. When we first launched Building Babies Brains in 2020, it was 54% not ready. So more than half the kids coming in not ready. Over time, we've really worked to change that number. This year, it's 49% not ready, so a 5% change in the last 5 years, which is really exciting. And it's because of what's happening in early learning with Building Babies Brains and the organizations that are supporting it. So what are we doing? We're working towards making sure children are ready to thrive in kindergarten and making sure that parents have everything they need to be their child's first and best teacher. So I'm going to turn it over. We're going to talk about these goals and metrics. You do not need to read this. It is a lot of letters in very small font on your screen, but it just goes to show you that we have goals and metrics and our action teams, which each one of them will speak to you individually about what they're focused on in their group. But we are working towards achieving these goals that we think will move the needle on kindergarten readiness. So I'm going to turn it over to Stacey Lord. She's going to introduce herself, and then she's going to talk to you a little bit about some of the initiatives that are specific to Building Babies Brains outside of the action team work. Stacey?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Stacey Lord. I serve as one of Kim's coordinators in the Office of Early Learning and School Readiness for Gwinnett County Public Schools. And I also help to support Gwinnett Building Babies Brains from my seat in GCPS as one of the lead facilitators for the community initiative. So super excited to be here with everybody. Also see a lot of familiar names. So thank you for being here and contributing what you're already doing. One of the key really pillars or key points of what we do out in the community as an initiative are the work that our ambassadors do. So we have 2 paid ambassadors in Gwinnett Building Babies Brains, and they are everywhere all the time. They are at community events. They are at the library. They are in parks. They are partnering with some of the Gwinnett Building Babies Brains partner organizations, such as the school system, the library system, Aurora Theater, B Squared Anywhere, you name it. They are trying to connect and trying to be there. And just in the past year, they have, between the two of them, been involved in over 200 community touch points. They assist parents to enroll in free high quality early learning programming across Gwinnett. They help folks locate and navigate the website. They hand out high quality materials right in the hands of kids, as well as making sure that, again, those families and parents have access to that high quality, those tools, those resources, and that information that they need and want to be their child's first and best teacher. So they are supporting far and wide within the borders of Gwinnett. You heard me mention that our ambassadors may show up at our libraries. They support story times, but they also support early learning at the library. Early learning at the library started off as a partnership, just a one-time thing at one of our 15 branches of Gwinnett County Public Library, supported by the coaches and specialists and teachers who support Play to Learn in the schools. And it was such a hit that those two organizations, the library and the school system, came together and branch by branch started expanding this program until this year we have now, as a Gwinnett Building Babies Brains initiative, served every single library branch with an early learning at the library event. And this is where parents come with their children and they get to engage in almost a play to learn type experience, but in the library. And so again, taking the two different programs, two different opportunities, putting them together to open this up to all of our early learning families in Gwinnett. This is also, oops, sorry, just one more thing I thought would be important to share. I forgot to say it. This is a great opportunity to recruit for our Play to Learn programs in the school system and also to get folks signed up for library cards to have them coming back and enjoying the library over and over again. Bedtime with Brainy. Raise your hand if you've seen one of the Bedtime with Brainy story times. This is an amazing story time that happens once a month. And one of our amazingly talented artists from the Aurora Theater gets on in front of the camera and reads aloud a book to our children. So if you haven't seen it, you can imagine how engaging that is. And through the library helps get those edited and connected through the library storytime Goodnight Gwinnett that airs through their YouTube channel and is now connected to our Gwinnett Building Babies Brains website. And then the books are ordered and provided through the Aurora Theater's Imaginations at Play early learning program. And so families walk away with books in hand with a QR code in the book so they can log in and watch such an engaging read aloud. And this is really twofold. It's entertaining for the children, but it's also really showing families just how important reading aloud is and how engaging you can make it for your children. So they want to look at those books and read over and over and over again.
All
Now I guess
right.
I'll turn it over to Amanda.
All right. Thanks, Stacy. All right. I'm excited to be able to join you guys and touch a little bit on the awareness side of what we're talking about with Building Babies Brains. I'm going to start with, I love that Stacy got to give all the really good news and what's going on. And I'm going to start with all these negative numbers. When we started to look at our results in October and really looked at everything was a little bit down. And we actually had we anticipated that it was going to be down because a lot of our funding shifted and was removed. And this team has done amazing jobs with getting all of that restructured and trying to make it work with what we had. But because of that, we had a feeling this would happen. So a lot more emphasis has gone into our things like our impact labs and our field trips and our things like Bedtime with Brainy and our Play to Learn events. But we anticipated this. So because of that, go ahead and go to the next slide. We went ahead and said, all right, we need to shift. We need to evolve. And so what we did is we stepped back and we really looked at what are some of our partnerships? How do we deepen some of those? The Aurora is a great case study for that and how much more that has really come into this. Um, and what we're looking for is how do we start to grow that? So we wanted to lean on what we could, but we also needed to shift away from one-off awareness efforts into systems that build engagement, funding, and partnership. And so that has been what we've been working on since then. And a lot of this is what we want to do is strengthen our collaboration with the communities, ensure that every message is connecting. So we're actually evolving the awareness committee into more than just getting the word out there, because of, like a lot of other nonprofits out there, funding is a challenge. So we went back and we retuned our goals, and we have 4 goals that we're moving forward with right now. And it's a combination of getting the word out there as well as figuring out different ways for people to engage. So the first one is to work on building a parent newsletter. We have great content on the website, and we want to be able to get that out on a regular basis. So this is something that we're hoping to have up and running by the fall. And the second one is local funding messaging. So looking for different ways to communicate and connect with local funding opportunities. And we've gone down many a path. And recently we're kind of fine-tuning that and starting to roll out some different sponsorship opportunities, some grant opportunities. So if you guys know of anybody who is interested in that, one of the ways we're partnering with the events that we already have. When we have our field trips, we typically have anywhere between 5 and maybe 800 families coming, depending on what the field trip is. Touch a truck is coming up, and that will be huge. So how can we help partner with businesses who also want to connect with that? So we're doing with that, and then with our impact labs, where we're connecting with all of these educators, early education educators. Third one is a turnkey community giving program. We have a lot of people. We do all these events for free, and people are like, how can I support? And so we're going to be rolling out very soon a turnkey community giving program, and we've created the cutest little brainy piggy banks so that the little kiddos get a chance to, if they want it, whatever they got, if they got pennies, they got quarters, if they got dollars, they got hundreds, we'll take it. But we want to make sure that we're out these events. So we're giving the community a chance.
Hey, Amanda, your connection is off a little bit. It's a little spotty. Might have to come on and come back off, or come off and come back on.
Thanks, Kamisha. I was wondering, it was at me. I was I was chatting with Jesse saying, is it just me? Because sometimes it's.
I wondered if it was me too, but then I saw
sorry.
you were moving typically, so I thought it wasn't me.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, was it our connection here?
All right. Are we
So,
back?
oh yeah. I think it maybe number 3 is where I think I last kind of was with you. Maybe
Sure.
the
Okay. All right, let me go back a second. All right, so number 3, turnkey. We get a lot of requests from the community to say, how can we give? How can we support? So we're realizing instead of just looking at our bigger funding opportunities, being able to do this. And we've come up and created these cute little brainy piggy banks so kiddos can put funds in there as well. And so we'll be rolling that out pretty soon so that we can, whatever they got, pennies, quarters, 20s, hundreds, we'll take it all. And then the fourth one that we're working on is getting Google Grant campaign in place so that we can take advantage of Google Grants, $10,000 a month in advertising so that we could be directing people to the website. This is a great resource for parents. We have it for all ages. Parents can break down resources for that. We have it in multilingual. So we want to make sure that we're going from those negative numbers to those positive numbers. So that is what our pivot was in the last little bit. So with that, we can shift over to goals. There we go. And I think we've touched on a number of these, but basically what we're looking at is website analytics, social media, our media publicity and promotional materials that we distribute. And so we want to be able to increase those. We want to broaden our network of stakeholders. So that's the number of sectors that we're connecting with, as well as our stakeholders, and then increasing our time, talent, and treasure, which is our number of volunteers in kind, as well as the financial. So when we talk about that, we go to our next one and how we're looking for ways to help. So if you guys can help, or you have other people who can connect with us, because this is such an important thing, we're looking for website content. We're looking for awareness committee members, or anything else that can look like with regard to treasure. We're looking for funding for our Google strategists, and then talent, connecting to find sustainable partners moving forward. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tanya.
Good afternoon. I'm Tanya Blue. I'm actually the Division Director for Building Brains Anywhere with Gwinnett County Community Services. And I am one of the co-leaders for the high quality programming that we offer. So our programs actually do a couple different things. We have impact labs that we've had last year. Last year we actually did 2. And our impact labs actually basically offer professional development for our early learning child educators, whether they're teaching in an early learning center or in a pre-K classroom. This gives them the opportunity to come with us on a Saturday, hear a great speaker, whether it's around the brain or anything, or Stacy doing some amazing things as well as a speaker, but then getting that professional development that they can take back to their centers. And some of it, as you can see, we've had 2. So we had Lanier, Mill Creek, Mountain View at Seconder High School. We had 118 attendees. And then we had another one from that included Collins Hill, Duluth at Peachtree Ridge High School, which was 171. And you can see by the numbers that basically most of our attendees experienced a very impactful, which means they took a lot of materials back to their centers that included high quality actual materials that they got to take back. And then we always get very excited about the attendance when they say we got 100% likely to attend another Impact Lab conference. But the numbers at the bottom really speak to what these Impact Labs do. I could say, and you can see that it says it reached 22,734 students were impacted last year. And then since December of 2023, we've impacted 38,299. And what does that mean? That means that these teachers that are coming in, we've actually got the numbers from their centers or their classrooms. And this is what that professional development is doing. It's reaching all of these students because they're taking it back to these centers. And these are just some of the pictures of the different professional developments. You can see Brainy in the corner taking pictures with everybody. It's really fun and exciting. And then we also host early learning field trips. Now, the amazing things about these field trips are they are free. We don't charge anything to our families. It's all families of Gwinnett. We ask all of them to come in, and it's 0 to 5 years of age. Last year, we actually had 4 field trips. We had Fun on the Farm, was at McDaniel Farm in Duluth. We had 655 attendees. We did Imagination Islands, which was at Bogan Park. We did our special needs field trip, which was at Pickneyville. And then we did a Touch-a-Truck at Bethesda. And we were very excited this year because our Touch-a-Truck has changed locations and we're looking at a lot more attendees. We're going to be at the fairgrounds this year. So we're very excited about it. But you can see by the numbers that a lot of our families enjoy these field trips because it's all hands-on activities. A lot of it is activities that they can take home and reproduce without having to buy a lot of different things. We show them exactly, like, you could take cups and you can sort out buttons. You could take certain things like the Imagination Island. You could take newspapers or leftover construction paper and they can create whatever they want with it. So these are ideas for families to really take home and do while they're at home without spending a lot of money or just whatever they have in the house. So 95% of our families agreed that the information was presented would support their child's early learning and growth, which is amazing. That's 95% is a lot. And then 93% they'd likely to attend another field trip from us. And we've actually done almost 5 this last school year. So we're very excited. We've been able to add additional ones with other organizations like Aurora, which has been amazing. So we're looking for another great year on our field trips. And this is just some pictures again. We've got our fire truck from one of our toucher trucks. We have another one that we showed them how to make homemade face paint, which was very allergy proof. It was really fun. Reading time at McDaniel Farm. Then we have some oobleck with our special needs children because they like sensory. And then our food, Imagination Island, we had what we call our box palooza. We saved every box that we could imagine, and kids created all kinds of huge different kinds of buildings and things that they could knock down. It was just really fun for them. So what we've planned for this year. So far, as you can see, we've already done Aurora Theater. That was in August. That was amazing. We had all kinds of different activities. Aurora Theater actually had some reading times in the theater. We had a dress up stage, so that was really fun. We went to Alexander Park this year when we actually did our outside play date. We had all kinds of mud and sand and water beads, and they got to play on the playground and figure out why was playing on the playground gun. We also had bucket drumming, which was like the best. Kids had so much fun with that. We did our first ever food themed field trip at Bogan Park this year. We actually let kids know how to chop a tomato or an apple, and then they got to taste applesauce or salsa. That was amazing. They got these little practice knives, and they were actually chopping with mom and dad, so that was kind of fun. We did our special needs field trip this March with EHC. And if you don't know what that is, this is just a specific program or field trip for parents of special needs who might need some resources. And each room has about 2 to 3 resources with activities. As the children are playing with these activities, the parents are actually getting the time to spend with the resources. So they're not having to watch the child or making sure they're not running off. It just gives them a very low-key sensory area for the parents to actually be able to talk to that resource. Because it's kind of hard when they're trying to do these kind of things and there's nothing going on for the child. And then our last one, like I said, is our touch a truck. We're actually at the Gwinnett Fairgrounds May 8th from 9 to noon. We're expecting 1,500 people. We've got lots and lots of trucks, big old trucks coming, fire department, police department. We have 2 huge trucks that are basically tow trucks. We've got all kinds of things coming up. So we're very excited. And then our impact labs for this last year, Brookwood South, Gwinnett, and Shiloh clusters. And then actually this spring, we held our first ever county-wide impact lab. And there was over 300 attendees. And this was an amazing event to hold, as we've always done it by cluster now, but we're probably going to end up doing a lot more of those impact labs because it's been very helpful for these teachers in these early learning education sites. So how can you help us? Well, volunteering is always a great program because we need people's time to volunteer. A lot of help that is needed for these field trips, especially like the one we've got coming up with the Touch a Truck. We actually have a great organization called Safety Town that is coming with us this year. Their first time, and they're actually going to be fitting children with helmets, and that's going to take a lot of our time. But that also goes for our special needs field trip. Like I said, we want those parents to talk to those resources. It takes a lot of volunteers to help play with the kids while the parents are talking. Treasure, as everybody is talking about funding and making sure that this great work continues on with what we do every day. And then talent, access to large venues. As you saw the numbers when it comes to our field trips and our impact labs, we have a lot of people that attend these, and sometimes the space is not large enough because we want to make sure everybody has access to these programs. Okay, and I'm going to pass it on to Patty.
Hi, I'm Patty Reber. I am the Youth Services Manager at Gwinnett County Public Library. I am in charge of the high quality resources action team. We get asked a lot about what high quality resources means, because for a lot of people, resources, they think, okay, like a piece of paper, and we have some of that. But the reason what we're talking about when we're talking about high quality resources, we're talking about resources that lead to these things: cognitive development, which means engaging materials and activities that stimulate brain growth and help children develop critical thinking skills. We mean resources that help language skills. That means like quality books and learning tools, things that enhance vocabulary and communication skills, things that lead to social emotional growth, resources that promote interaction and play and help kids learn to navigate social settings and manage their emotions and learning how to share. Motor skills, anything with like toys and activities. There's a lot of things that like involve you to move your hands or your body, and you're building those fine and gross motor skills that you're going to need when you start school and have to pick up a pencil and have to write. Also, love of learning. We're looking for resources that promote this love of learning because that makes it fun and enjoyable because you like to do things that you like to do. Preparedness. Children who have access to educational tools and experiences are better equipped to handle the structure and expectations of classrooms environment. So we want to get them ready and prepared for that environment when they're going to school. We really want to encourage family engagement because when resources involve the parents and the caregivers, it strengthens that family bond and it creates a supportive learning environment, and you get their buy-in. Like they understand why it's important and they're engaged with it. And then equity is so important. Access to high quality resources throughout the county. Regardless of the background, everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. So what have we been doing around this? So last year, our goal was to create a data collection pool that would capture all the resources given out in the Gwinnett County. So we looked at where are our schools, where are our play-to-learns, where are our parks, where are the little minds boxes, where are the libraries, and we've put all of this together and we've created a map, and it's got everything marked on there, and child care centers and libraries. And so now, this coming year, we're going to be looking at this map and we can see where we have a high density of resources and where maybe we could do some work and where we can concentrate. Maybe that's where we send the mobile play to learn and the mobile library, and maybe that's where we concentrate having some of our programs. So that's going to allow us to better target where we are sending our resources and spending our time. This is some of our pictures because I love our kids. And I did say we did have paper materials, and these are some of our paper materials that we give out at a lot of our events. Just encouraging parents to be their best teacher, the first best teacher. And we give out books. Stacy talked a lot about the early learning at the libraries and the bedtime with Brainy that we do. We kind of take over those programs as well because, again, it's all about giving parents and caregivers the tools that they need to succeed. So moving forward, our goal is to increase the number of resources distributed across Gwinnett. So we are looking for partner organizations. We're already working with Quality Care for Children, and we're also looking for other organizations that reach that birth to 5 who maybe are in some of our zones that we need to concentrate our efforts on. So when we talk about our time, talent, and treasure, how can you help us? If your organization works with birth to 5, parents of birth to 5, we'd love to get in touch with you. We'd love to coordinate ways that we can work together. Maybe we can bring some programming out to you. Maybe we can bring some resources out to you. That would be great. That input on distribution. We're really focused on that time and talent. Treasure, we've all talked about it. We all need treasure. This would be for at-home STEM materials, books that we can give out, things like that. And we always need volunteers if you just have time to give to assemble these math bags and literacy bags that we hand out. We also give out bags that go to every child who is born in a hospital. They get a bag. So we have these things that we need to assemble that we're always looking for people to help with.
And Patty, do you want to share? I know that we had something that just went live, what, last week? Our laundromat.
Oh, I can remember. Yes, we have
I
our
know.
first laundromat. So one of the things we're looking at is getting oh, what do we call them?
Bubbles and books with Brainy.
Bubbles and Books with Brainy. And what it is it's basically a corner in a laundromat where we have books and materials. So because we're looking for places that kids are, that they're going to be for a while, that we can give them something that's not a screen. And laundromats, everybody know you have to sit there and do the laundry. So we have partnered with our very first one. And Kim, can you tell us where it is? Because I don't have that in front of me.
Yeah, I would have to look at
Oh,
that. It's in Lilburn. I know that much. Stacy probably is about to type that in the chat at some point. But yeah, so it's a laundromat in Lilburn, so we're still looking, being very purposeful around where are the ones that have lots of children, and our great ambassadors have been out looking to see, where those are located and which ones seem to have a ton of children in them. So yes,
yeah, I
very
forgot that that was
exciting.
live. Yes.
So as you can see, just we have a lot of really cool things going on in this initiative. And like I said earlier, it's not just Gwinnett County Public Schools. It's not just the library system. It's everyone is involved. We've got business owners, we have nonprofits, we have county government, library system, school system, Aurora Theater, kind of you name it, quality care for children, and folks are involved. The coalition has been a great partner. We even sort of got started in the coalition years and years ago through an education committee around looking at early learning that we started, and then expanded into the Building Babies Brains initiative. So I appreciate the opportunity to share information with you guys. That was short, and there's so much going on outside of what we shared with you. I encourage you to go to our website and see all the amazing resources. There's an event calendar that you can check out what's coming up next. If you do have small children, or even if you don't and you're interested, May 8th, Touch a Truck at the Gwinnett Fairgrounds in the morning. It's going to be amazing. So please come and enjoy that either with your own family, or if you want to volunteer, obviously, let us know. And so now open for any questions that you might have. Again, thank you, Renee, for letting us join today.
You're welcome. Can you guys hear me? Shoot.
I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
you can? Okay, because there's something wrong with something here too for me, intermittent. Thank you, Kim, and the entire team. I know that this is absolutely a group effort, and everyone is all in. You can tell by the enthusiasm and the knowledge that each of you possesses to talk about the work that you are championing, let's say. If you put yourself in like the shoes of maybe a nonprofit that's serving families in the community, and you may or may not know all the ins and outs of that particular family's needs or whatever, how would you encourage or guide those of us who are engaging directly with families to maybe engage in some of this, or to go to it? Is it just simply directing them to the website, or do you have other hints to kind of draw them in and reduce the fear, the barrier, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so we have some print materials that are really helpful for families to access the website. And then on the website, there's a developmental questionnaire that just pops up. You choose your child's age, you answer a couple of simple questions, and then it sends you a personalized email with information on what might be helpful for you working with your child. So we have postcards. We give those to a lot of different organizations that hand them out. We also have some parent handbooks, we call them. So those are for new parents basically for pregnant moms and dads. And so if you engage with those types of families, family structure, we have those that we can provide to you. We've been very blessed with some grants that have allowed us to do a lot of these high quality print materials that we are happy to share with anyone and everyone as needed. But the website is the hub of all things. And
Yep.
one of the things that I always like to tell people is that engaging with children and building their brains is really easy. It's about singing, playing, reading, talking, to them and with them. And so that's really the best advice for building a baby's brain is to just have that human to human interaction with children.
And I see Stacy's putting lots of links in the chat for you guys to be able to access easily. And I did note in all the pictures that I saw, there were no screens, right? That's the beauty of this work is it's just back to basics, right? Just being with your child or with your neighbor's child or your nephew or your niece. What questions do we have from the group that's online today? Is there any? I didn't see any in the chat. I've seen lots of compliments about the creativity and just the work that's being done. Um, This is, I think, one of the best ways that we as community members, no matter your role or what your specific job responsibility is, I mean, these are the leaders of tomorrow. These are our kids, and they're going to be sitting in the seats of all of us one day. So really helping them kind of reach their potential and get their first foundations for learning for a lifetime happen in that 0 to 5 year range. So this is just great work again, Kim, for you and your team. And I think we could let you go if you want. I mean, you're welcome to stay on as well, but I think you've got lots of new things happening in your area. So thank all of you for being here today.
Thank you, Renee. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to turn to general announcements and wondering if there's any from the group. Yep, Viola or Viola? I'm not sure how to say.
It's Viola. I was just thanking the people that did the presentation. They did an
Oh.
excellent job. You are so right. Excellent,
Yes,
excellent.
yes. That's our future, people. Okay. Are there any other activities that are going on in the community that are top of mind for you guys? Because I have a couple from a coalition perspective. Okay, one of them is if you are someone who is unfamiliar with AI and how it works and how to use it, I do want to make you aware of a practical AI tools for nonprofits. It's an upcoming session that we're having, and I forgot to send this to Jesse, so I'm actually just going to put this in the chat myself for nonprofits. And I don't think the link is going to work. Jesse, if I could ask you to go grab that, I'm going to put just a couple things in the chat. Sorry, I forgot that. But this is the name of the event, and it's happening on May 20th. And it will be held, there's a registration link. That's it. Thank you very much. It's going to be held at UGA Gwinnett campus. So real convenient. And Matt Hyatt, the CEO of Rocket IT, those of you who might know local companies, he's a real powerhouse and really helpful for all things business, I think, and IT in the community. But especially this is going to be geared for nonprofits and those of us who may or may not have been engaged in this work before. But we absolutely, when I hear Matt talk about it, he says, I thought I was productive before, but now that I'm really kind of in this and using it and creating supports for my organization and myself, he says, I think I'm 200 to 300% more effective, more efficient than I ever was. And I was like, well, okay, then we probably do need to share this with everybody. So we're excited about that on May 20th, and you can sign up for that morning session. And the other thing that I would want to add is that we are getting ready. Jesse, this has to do with Candid Search and the soft rollout of that. So Gwinnett Coalition is a partner with Candid Search. If you're familiar with the Foundation Directory or GuideStar, this is a new organization that they merged a few years ago, actually, but they've been working to really pull their information together and to present it back to really the United States in a way that is helpful for both funders and for nonprofits. So if you're a nonprofit that's looking for funding, which I think all of us are, you've heard that several times through today, and every call that we have, it sometimes is about where is the funding. You're welcome to come to the coalition and to access Candid Search and the foundation directory to kind of begin to explore what are those opportunities for funding that are out there. You actually have to be on site in our office because our license is for this particular site, but you are welcome to come and utilize that no matter what your service area is. There's a plethora of information, and we've tried to set it up to be really easy for you, self-serve, and come in and there'll be instructions. There's also a bunch of links on our website that I think that is in the chat as well. So you can do some pre-reads and really come in, book some time with us and just bring your cup of coffee, bring your computer and sit and do the research, because the way you link is through our IP address to Candid Search. And that will start on May 4th. That's a Monday. Excuse me. Any questions or any thoughts on that? And is there anything else that's on the minds of those of you who are in the room today? Kind of a quiet crowd. Yeah, Jennifer. Oh, and Shannon after that.
Yeah, I had some announcements. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so please keep that in your hearts and minds. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of ways that you can participate, be a part of. There are events. You can forward something on your social media post. Take trainings through Gwinnett Coalition. Resilient Gwinnett has like 16 or 17 evidence-based trainings you can do. I'll put that link in the chat. On May 9th, the Sheriff's Office Mental Health Task Force is having an event at Alexander Park from 10 to 2. And then on May 15th, Recast and Guide are hosting a family-friendly Together for Wellness on the lawn in Lawrenceville. Activities, resources, and games, and they'll be showing the movie Doolittle. So that's on May 15th, 6 to 10. So just be on the lookout for anything mental health, share it, help us reduce the stigma, and go out to a fun event.
Lots of them in the spring.
Yes. Thank you, Shannon, for putting that in there.
Yeah.
Yes, Jennifer, great minds think alike, because that's exactly what I was coming to say is just to encourage everyone to please go to our website and to check out the virtual trainings that are coming up, not just in May, but for the remainder of 2026. You can see what trainings are available as well as to sign up for those virtual trainings. I also wanted to make sure that everyone was aware, and if you receive our newsletter, The Exchange, then you probably saw in there that we have launched the Resilient Gwinnett Youth Advisory Council applications. It is currently open and we are in the process of recruiting. So what we would love to have are young people who don't mind extending their voice to us, right? We want to be able to hear from them, hear what impacts them, as well as to get their feedback as to our current Resilient Gwinnett programming and whether or not we're hitting the mark. You know, we feel like we're doing what's best and on behalf of youth, especially the populations that we're trying to serve, but we really want to give them an opportunity to help to influence what's happening in our community and to increase resiliency. So I'm going to drop another link in the chat for you. And if you do know, let's see if it's going to act right.
It did.
It did. Oh, someone put it in. Thank you. And if you do happen to know a youth or young adult between the age of 13 and 26, please go ahead and pull that link from the chat, forward it to them. We would love to have them sign up. Really, the only prerequisite is that they're going to come willing to engage, and willing to chat, and that they are a leader in their own right. There is no certain GPA that you have to have. We just want young people and youth that are passionate about increasing resiliency and being able to use their inner leadership skills to help influence us in what we're doing. We're really hoping to be able to start this in August. So this is our prime recruitment time. And I think that's it. Unless anyone has any questions, there's 2 in-person meetings, which will be in August and in May. So our kickoff and then our closing is in person. The other meetings, which will happen every other month for September, November, January, and March, will be virtual meetings. And then we'll have 2 to 3 virtual trainings that are specifically for youth. Okay, so any questions, feel free to email us, give us a call. You can email us at resilientgwinnett@gwinnettcoalition.org. So far we have 2 young people, but we know those applications are getting ready to roll in. So please do extend it to all the youth that you are aware of.
If you know and have, a circle of influence, you can, of course, the website, but I just uploaded the flyer, Shannon, so that's also available if that's easier.
Perfect.
One, both, all. Okay.
Yes. Perfect.
Any other information? Okay. Kind of a small but mighty group today. You're charged with taking this early learning information out into the community and broadcasting that everywhere you can. I know we will be taking the opportunity to cross promote those activities that they are leading. Again, it's critical. And you heard Kim talk about how a lot of times the families that we are serving, those that are most in need, often have those children that would benefit the most from this kind of engagement. So that's why we brought this to you today, and hope that you will to take it forward and do good work as you are doing already in the community. All right. And we have no meeting in May, guys, because it's Memorial Day weekend. So we will see you in June. And just wish you a great rest of the academic year. We're coming to a close. Lots of graduations are going to be happening, and then followed by the holiday. And it'll be vacations after that. But we will see you in June, and we'll be letting you know what the topic is then. But have a great rest of your day, and thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.